Welcome back, everyone. Time to do another comparison this time around between the iPhone 12 mini and the iPhone XS Max. And I could have sworn I already filmed this, but I guess I didn't. But I guess we're going to see which one is the better one between both. Now, obviously, if you have all the money in the world, I guess the 12 mini is a better one. But the XS Max, also excels in a couple of areas. The price tag of this phone, you can pick it up for like around $600. The iPhone 12 mini, you can probably pick it up for $729 brand new, plus taxes and all that stuff. It gets a little bit more expensive. But if you want to pick them up for the cheapest prices I find, I'll link both of them down below. You can get them from there and help support the channel at the same time. Now, side by side, you can definitely see that the iPhone 12 mini is the far smaller phone than the iPhone XS Max, and I'm pretty sure the whole entire panel of the iPhone 12 mini and even the whole entire phone fits inside of the iPhone XS Max. That is really, really incredible. The XS Max has that 6.5-inch Super Retina OLED display, and it's a really good panel. I've said this time and time again, it does the job. I mean, it does more than the job. It's a very good, sharp panel for the most part, and it's massive. A lot of people may actually prefer the massive design and the curved sides for the most part. I don't even know why I just screenshotted, but that's a really big deal in my opinion. That's something that's really awesome. You have the notch. The design is primarily the same for both phones, to be honest. The iPhone 12 mini has a much smaller 5.4-inch panel, the notch, curved, or the flat designs on the 12 mini, which is really cool. And you can definitely feel that the 12 mini is a much smaller phone. It definitely, I guess, in a way, feels a little bit more safer to hold. With these bigger phones, I've always felt like I was about to drop them, and on the iPhone 12 mini, I don't really get that. I feel like it's much easier to hold, and you can definitely see the size is much smaller than the 12 mini, and it also weighs much less than the iPhone XS Max for sure. So when it comes down to the bodies and everything, the iPhone 12 mini is a smaller one, the XS Max the bigger one. You can kind of prefer which one you like, but I don't really see that many differences in terms of the way the panels look. And in some ways, the XS Max actually has kind of a sharper looking panel, in my opinion, than the iPhone 12 mini. In terms of the thinness and thickness between the two, they both kind of feel the same. I don't know if there's one that necessarily feels way thinner or way thicker. The iPhone XS Max, because of their curved design, it does kind of feel like it's a little bit thicker. I don't know. It's kind of weird. The 12 mini may actually be the thinner one though. They both have dual camera setups on the back. The last backs on both, I do have a skin on my XS Max, and they both pretty much feel the same when it comes down to the back design. We also have IP certification on both, which is great. Wireless charging on both as well, which is another huge asset. So really when it comes down to that kind of stuff, they both kind of, excel in the same areas, which is really, really nice. So in terms of the outside and the bodies, that pretty much covers it up. In terms of the software, because the iPhone XS Max is 2 years older, most potentially, it's going to be lasting 2 years less than the iPhone 12 mini. That's really just a given. So the 12 mini is probably going to last until like 2025 or 2026. The iPhone XS Max is probably going to last till like 2023 or 2024, something like that. So typically the newer phones usually last longer, but they're going to be getting the same updates while they're supported, the same day updates for the most part as well. So that's another really important thing too. So in terms of software, that pretty much covers it up. Now let's go and do a little bit of a speed comparison between these two. The iPhone XS Max has that Apple A12 Bionic chip inside of it with 4 gigabytes of RAM, where the iPhone 12 mini has that Apple A14 Bionic chip inside of it with 4 gigabytes of RAM as well. So let's go and see which one is the faster phone between both of these. Okay, now that we're back, let me go and clear all the apps in the background, which are already cleared. So start loading these up. Let's do phone calls, 3, 2, 1. And I think the 12 mini may have been a little bit faster. App Store, 3, 2, 1. And actually, the XS Max was faster there. I was not expecting that. Scrolling through, you can see about the same thing. Let's go and click here. I guess that told me it was a little bit faster, but the XS Max was actually the faster one to load that one up, which is very surprising. Now we have a bunch of these third-party apps we can go and get into. Let's do Fruit Ninja. 3, 2, 1. And the 12 mini slightly faster, as far as I can tell. Not really a crazy big difference. It was a little bit faster to pop up into that panel, but probably the 12 mini may have been the faster one. Twitter, 3, 2, 1. 12 mini was faster, XS Max a little bit behind. Facebook, 3, 2, 1. And I did screw that up, but I'll just load that in the background for the RAM management. Temple Run 2, 3, 2, 1. And the 12 mini is, I would say, faster than the XS Max even from that first glance. And it's definitely probably only going to get noticeably different. I mean, we've already loaded on the 12 mini. Eventually, we get into it on the XS Max. So that was a pretty big difference in my opinion. Gameplay-wise, probably not that big of a difference. I would say they're both about the same. But, the 12 mini was definitely faster there for sure. Let's do BOFA. 3, 2, 1. And the 12 mini, again, is the faster one. XS Max a little bit behind. Let's do Quizlet. 3, 2, 1. 12 mini faster, iPhone XS Max a little bit behind. Dropbox, 3, 2, 1. Again, the 12 mini is faster, XS Max a little bit behind right there. Netflix, 3, 2, 1. Again, the 12 mini is slightly faster. The 10s Max was just a little bit behind. Not a big difference at all. Snake versus blocks. 3, 2, 1. And you can see the 12 mini was faster. The 10s Max is a little bit behind right there. Let's go and get into some gameplay. And I don't know if there's going to be that big of a difference as usual. So kind of let that one kind of go. Thank you. 3, 2, 1. And again, the 12 mini was faster, the 10s Max a little bit behind. Gameplay wise, you can see the graphics load about the same, not a ginormous difference between them at all. But you can see the glitchiness when we hop out of a game on the 10s Max. It was much smoother on the 12 mini. Let's do stack. 3, 2, 1. And the 12 mini, I think, goes faster. The iPhone 10s Max. Actually, they both kind of load about the same, to be honest. Let's do Paper IO 2. 3, 2, 1. 12 mini was faster. iPhone 10s Max a little bit behind. Let's get into some gameplay, and I don't know if there's going to be that big of a difference. They're both probably roughly going to be about the same. Maybe the 12 mini was a little bit smoother, but they still were really close. Let's do Real Racing 3. 3, 2, 1. And we'll probably end up ending, even with that one, you see how much slower it was to kind of load up on the panel on the 10s Max. The 12 mini was definitely, I think, a little bit smoother to load that up right there. And you can see the 12 mini is fully loaded for the most part. The iPhone 10s Max was a little bit behind when it came down to that. So definitely when it comes down to this whole comparison, the iPhone 10s Max is a little bit slower. But again, like I've said before, the 12 mini actually has really bad RAM management, as I've shown. But I don't think I would go from a 10s Max's performance level to the 12 mini. As you can see, RAM management is much better on the iPhone 10s Max. And it glitched up right there. The 12 mini, I think, was able to secure that same spot. So maybe when it comes down to these bigger apps, the RAM management is better on the 12 mini. But that's still a lot of apps that the 12 mini actually restarted at. So as you can see, restarted this one too. I'll do a full speed comparison between these, but I would not go from the speed of the iPhone 10s Max to the speed of the 12 mini. It seems like a very marginal difference in my opinion. So that pretty much covers up the speed comparison. Let's go into a quick camera comparison between them. On the back, like I stated, dual camera setups on both, 12 megapixel wide, 12 megapixel ultra wide on the iPhone 12 mini, 12 megapixel wide, 12 megapixel telephoto on the iPhone 10s Max. Now, as I've said before, the 10s Max has had a really good camera setup. Really, anything I've ever done with it was really, really good. You can do 4K at 60 on the back camera, which is a huge highlight, but you can only do 1080p at 60 on the front camera. Now, I would say in terms of the features, for the most part, they're very, very similar. There's not really that many features that the iPhone 12 mini has that the iPhone 10s Max doesn't have, besides the 4K at 60 on the front camera. You still have portrait mode, you still have a lot of different capability on this phone, and there's just honestly not that many differences this year, at least from the previous generation or even the previous generation before that to the next one, besides that front camera difference in my opinion. But the only other thing about that is that camera jump came in the last generation. It came with the iPhone 12 Pro or the 11 Pro and 11 Pro Max. So I don't know really what was going on this year. They didn't really do anything too crazy, but I would say coming from the 10s Max to the 12 mini, you're probably going to be getting a better camera setup. You have that ultra wide sensor, which I actually do like more than the telephoto lens on the iPhone 10s Max. So I don't think going from the 10s Max to the 12 mini is a bad camera upgrade. I'll just kind of say like why, you know what I mean? It's not going to be, I wouldn't upgrade just because of the camera, but you are getting a better back camera and a front facing camera on the iPhone 12 mini than the iPhone 10s Max. Now, ending it off with the battery life, I will probably tell you that the iPhone 11 Pro Max or the iPhone 10s Max probably would have worse battery life than the iPhone 12 mini, which is weird. iOS 14 hasn't been too good on the iPhone 10s Max in my opinion, but I will do a full battery comparison hopefully sometime on my second channel, so I can go and drop that and give you a better assumption. But maybe the iPhone 12 mini would be better. I don't really know, but kind of sum up this video and to answer the question, should you go and pick up the iPhone 10s Max? Should you pick up the iPhone 12 mini? In my opinion, so far from what I've seen, there's still a lot of pros for the iPhone 10s Max. I would not go from a 10s Max to any of the iPhone 12 series in my opinion. The 10s Max still has a beautiful display, as you can see. I mean, it's still pretty fast. The gestures are still smooth. You have that notch design, which is still it's the exact same thing on all the other iPhones still. Battery life isn't going to be that great, but you're still getting, software updates for a very long time as well. And it's still a smooth and fast phone. There's just not that much to hate on it. And I'd be surprised if people want to go from, the biggest iPhone Apple made, one of the biggest, to one of the smallest. You know what I mean? Like, I understand size is, personal preference. So if you like a smaller phone, go for it. But I would tell you, I wouldn't go from a smaller phone to a big phone or a big phone to the smaller phone just based off the size. I feel like there's a lot of features that some of these bigger phones have that the smaller ones kind of, miss out on. Now, between these two, I do think the 12 mini is kind of a better phone in some areas. The performance is a little bit better. The RAM management seemed to be worse on the iPhone 12 mini, but the size is the one thing that's going to attract a lot of people. And I will tell you, the size is super convenient. If you're somebody who wants to use a smaller phone, this is one of the best options in the world right now. There's not that many options. All these phones are getting bigger and bigger, and between these two, the 12 mini really stands out. So it does kind of make sense to me why people would do it. You're getting a better camera setup, that's a huge thing. Battery life, I wouldn't upgrade because of the battery life, because this has a much smaller battery, but I feel like the software is more optimized on the iPhone 12 mini. But I don't know, like between these two, I would probably stick with an iPhone XS Max. I like having that way bigger display than having a way smaller display. I feel like the performance is almost the same. The iOS updates are one thing that's going to affect you in the future. The 12 mini is going to be supported still, where the iPhone XS Max won't be supported at some time. But like I said, I don't think I would go from either one of these phones to the vice versa. But I feel like the middle ground of both of these, the 11 Pro series, the 11 Pro and 11 Pro Max, was a really good value in my opinion. And those phones actually offered a lot on the table, and they're much cheaper now. So I would probably recommend getting one of those models, to be honest. But either one of these, you can't really go wrong in my opinion. So that really pretty much covers it up for the most part. Pick up the other ones, like I said. Links will be down in the description. Hit the like button if you guys enjoyed the video, but definitely hit that subscribe button. Every single subscriber that we get really does count, so it means so much if you guys could hit that. Also, check out the other links down in the description as well. My Twitter, my Instagram, my other channels. More importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out till then.